Welcome to Suppose, a podcast where authors discuss the extraordinary. I'm James B. Hassel.
And I'm Sarah John.
And this week we're discussing Suppose the world is experiencing mass hysteria.
Dun dun dun.
Because it is.
Depends on who you are.
No, I think it is. I think the majority is. How about that?
Okay.
As most mass hysterias go. It starts with an idea and just grows from there and sweeps people in without them noticing.
Uh-huh.
You know, like the witch trials.
Uh-huh.
When all you had to do is say, the devil made me do it. And then you were sorry. And then point out the other people influenced by the devil to get them in trouble and then you were in the good. Does this sound familiar at all? Can I replace devil with like racist or white supremacist or communist or leftist or...
Yeah, we haven't burned anybody at the stake recently.
Not physically. We burn people at the stake all the fucking time, metaphorically.
That is true. Yeah, I can see that on the internet and everything.
Mm-hmm. The witch hunt, they hit soon and hard. Don't let up.
Huh. Okay. All right. I can see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All you had to do is point and say who they are.
You're a witch!
Mm-hmm. And it works on both sides, which is why I'm saying the globe, the round globe, just as a callback for that episode. Mass hysteria.
I just don't feel like everybody's under it.
I feel like more are than aren't, though. And that might be just my perception, but...
Yeah.
Especially when... Well, to be fair, as in most things, it affects one group of people more than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the very blue-collar people, I don't think they give a fuck about the witch hunt. They're, like, going to work and getting paid and going home and doing their thing, like everyone used to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to media outlets, when it comes to academia, when it comes to any kind of talking head, mass hysteria.
Well,
and their audiences.
It depends, because if you tell a redneck you're going to take his gun, he's going to lose his freaking mind. Which
is happening right now. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a mass shooting in Texas not that long ago. I'm pretty sure when I heard about it at the church. And the first thing said was, oh, good, here comes the gun debate again.
Yeah.
Not even like thoughts and prayers or fucking anything else. It was, nope, here comes the guns. They're coming for our guns once again. Which was true. That is the first thing that comes up.
Yes. I have thoughts on both sides of this, and I'm pissed that the Air Force didn't stop him from getting because, you know, if the Air Force would have reported what had happened, he wouldn't have gotten a gun. I mean, there's just so many ways that this went sideways.
But I was having that.
Have to go sideways. Like, if they would have reported it, he wouldn't have been able to legally get a gun. That doesn't mean he wouldn't have been able to get one.
Well, but the other part of that is... I was having this discussion earlier. I was like, okay, even if they had done that, and since we'll never know his motives, what if he spent 10 minutes on Google and figured out how to make a bomb, which is cheaper than buying a gun? And if he didn't have that much creativity, what stopped him from getting in a truck and plowing people down?
Yeah. It's harder to kill people in a truck.
No, depends. It was a church, man. They line up pretty well.
Yeah.
Like exiting and shit. It is, but I'm just saying.
But I think it's easier to kill a bunch of people quickly with a gun. It's like you have to swerve and like drive for people. Mm.
Yeah, I mean.
Guns you can just easily pivot.
True. You also have to be a good shot, which...
Not if you have an automatic weapon. You don't have to be a good shot.
There's no legal automatic weapons, so he didn't have a legal automatic weapon because those are illegal.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing is fucked up. We need a better mental health system. How about?
Well, that's the other part is the other thing you always hear is, oh, that's so evil. And you know my stance on that.
Mm-hmm.
But since this dude died, and I don't know if we're getting the autopsy for that, I'll go back to like one of the first well-known mass shooters, which was Whitman in Texas on the tower.
Oh, right. Yeah. I had to think about that.
Okay. I was going to say, if you remember that one.
I know who you're talking about, but it was not foremost in my mind.
I was going to say, not so much remember, but heard of, because it was in the 60s, I think, or 70s.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, all right. But he said in some, I don't know if it was letters, I think it was letters, that something was wrong with him, and he didn't know what it was. And after he died, he hoped science would autopsy him, dissect his brain, figure out what the hell was wrong with him, and drove him to do this. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, isn't him saying the devil made him do it.
Well, you know.
I give him credit for that, at least. Mm-hmm. So they did the autopsy, and there was a tumor pressing against a piece of his brain that would trigger massive aggression, paranoia, a reason to do these kinds of things.
That sucks.
So whenever you say these people are evil, are they?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, he had problems and he needed to be seen more seriously than he was. And then you have the guy in Texas who drove everybody down. That was, I mean, I think of suicide attacks like that as...
Which guy?
So you don't know about the thing in Texas? I'm not in Texas, in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the guy
Texas threw me off.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a little brain farted today.
Yeah, that's fine.
So to me that kind of suicide attack feels like mass hysteria. Like you have to work yourself. That kind of religious fervor doesn't seem to be an expression of genuine faith, but an act of being hysterical or, I don't know, warped in your head.
Well, this is funny because I mentioned this before the podcast that I wanted to link it to something that I thought you would agree with or hate.
Okay.
This is that thing.
Oh, okay.
I believe all of this has become religious fervor without the religion. As in, so I think the mass hysteria is linked to it, or what I'm calling mass hysteria, is whenever, because if you say the devil made me do it, or the devil is evil, or causing evil, and you replace devil so easily with patriarchy, the West, Christians, Jews, Muslims. If you can replace devil with any of that, and it easily fits the ideology that you're currently under, you're in some kind of religious fervor. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Veganism made me do it. That one doesn't really fly, though.
It does whenever you're attacking. Yeah. I was just PETA, what are they? The ALF, ELF? Animal Liberation? ALF. Yeah.
Animal Liberation, ELF.
They like to bomb things.
Yes. Yeah.
Because animal products are evil and veganism is God or good.
Yeah. Huh.
I think ideology, whether it's literal book religion or thought religion, I don't know what you would say that. I think it feeds into that.
Whatever you worship is your religion, and I don't mean that as in a God sense.
Yes.
And I think humans are hardwired to have some kind of faith-like structure.
I think people are hardwired for that.
Yeah, which I don't think has to be religion.
No.
I mean, it can be like, I have friends who find much meaning and peace and love and gratitude in yoga. And great, go for it.
Yeah.
But I think, because we are human, we like to take things to the extreme.
This is where my nihilism kicks in and gives me advantage.
Yeah. It would be nice to be nihilistic sometimes, except I would be monumentally unhappy that way, to be there any length of time.
True. But, I don't know. It depends on what you make of it. It really does.
What can you make of nihilism? Please tell me.
To not have any kind of faith, belief, or higher power?
Yeah, but what do you get at the end of that?
You get life.
Uh-huh.
You live life to its fullest as you can because you have a belief that nothing comes afterwards.
Okay. All right.
So you set a time limit. You get to enjoy this much time that you know of or you can imagine. And no more. Then yeah, you're going to do what you can to be happy in the moment.
Okay.
It definitely doesn't drive people to blow themselves up thinking they're going to get rewarded.
Well, okay, fair enough. But it could drive people to be depressed because if they feel like there is no point to it.
Well,
some people like having a point, but they like having a spelled out point.
Make your own point.
Yeah, how many people can actually do that?
I don't know. More should be able to, though. I think the world would be a happier place if they could.
Well, I don't feel like people can do that very much.
I don't either, which is, I still think it would be better, though. Because if your point was, I mean, like, modern Christianity, I should say, has some good points where it's like, be good, have a happy family, contribute to your family, protect your family. Those are all fun. You don't really need modern Christianity to get to those points, though.
Well, if you think about it as a community and that it creates an environment and a community to support you in doing those things, then, and people who believe the same way that you do, so they're helping you achieve that and stay accountable and all that other stuff. It's more of like...
See, wouldn't it be nicer if your community was your community, though? I think, or at least America has lost that completely.
I can't argue with that.
So you're living away from your community in a group of people you really don't know and don't care to know and possibly have different thoughts than you, so you don't like them on certain degrees.
Yeah, well, I mean, my family has different points of view that I think are asinine and amazing.
I think everyone's family has that, but
it's like so many times where I'm just like, I cannot believe you said that. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, but what if your community, your physical community, was supportive of you and your things? You wouldn't really need the church.
Yeah, but I mean,
as it stands, I agree. I'm talking utopia here, and I'm fully aware of that.
Some people are hardwired to believe in God, though.
Well, yeah.
So you would be fighting their biology, and they would be unhappy for it.
I'm not saying everyone would need it. I'm just saying.
Well, at this point, the number of people who actually attend some kind of religious service every week is very small, percentage-wise.
Are you sure?
Yes. People claim to have a religion, but those who are actively participating in that religious community is especially compared to what it was. But it's pretty small here. Now, if you go somewhere like Saudi Arabia, then everybody's participating across the board because they don't want to die.
No.
So
it doesn't make them any happier.
It does not make them any happier. So I feel like we have the weeding out of the people who don't actually feel anything about religion and don't actually get any benefit. So they're getting to be able to self-select out of this lifestyle that doesn't help them. And you're left with the people who actually want to be in part of this. So that's my thought. But anyway, so mass hysteria. Did we talk about the dancing plague last week?
I believe we did, but we could.
So yeah, you'd mentioned the dancing plague, and then I promptly went and forgot all about it. About mass hysteria breaking out, where a woman danced in the street, and then a bunch of people joined her, and then it randomly stopped.
Before we get too deep into this, I want to say this is from Pew, so take it for what it's worth.
Okay.
Participation. Percentage of people in each religious group who have high, medium, or low level involvement in their congregations. Christian, 30% high, 58% medium, 12% low.
See, 38 is not. I mean, it's not nothing, but.
Wait, what? High was 30, medium was 58, low is 12. I assume low would be I claim this religion but don't really go.
Yeah.
12% is not that big of a chunk out of the group.
No. But I mean, that's not not everybody's Christian. So you have a lot of people who say they're atheists or not affiliated or anything like that.
The country's like 70-something% Christian. Atheism or no affiliated religions quite low overall.
So 70% Christian, 30% of them go to church most weeks.
30% have high involvement.
What does that mean?
Let's see. All right. Those who are members of a congregation attend religious services at least weekly and attend a prayer or scripture group weekly or monthly are categorized as having high level of congregation involvement.
Yeah. So 30% of that 70% is still not horrendously.
Yeah, but 58%.
Do what?
Plus 30, so we're at 88%. But
what is that moderate involvement?
Let's see. All right, I'm going to say it how they said it. While those who are not members of a congregation and who seldom or never attend religious services and small group prayer scripture reading groups are in the low category, all other respondents are categorized as having medium.
Yeah, so what does that mean? Nothing.
Not really, no. It's a weird wording.
Yeah, people who are actively involved, and the people I'm considering are in that high group. So
yeah, that's like weekly plus.
Yeah.
So the 58% could be they attend weekly but don't attend the extra thing.
Could be.
Or it could be they attend once a month or something.
Or they're there at Christmas and Easter.
Would hope they would fall in the low category. Probably don't, but I would hope.
Yeah. I don't know.
But anyway, Dancing Plague.
Dancing Plague, which is way more interesting than religion.
Yes.
So you'd mentioned it, and then I got this book a week or two ago called Get Well Soon. And by the way, anybody who's looking for a good book, this is a really good book. I'm very much enjoying it. So today I was listening to it in the drive home just before we started the podcast, and she got into what she called the dancing plague. And so I got some more of the background on what happened. So there were...
Turns out needs an S now.
Plagues. Yes, it happened many times. So
that still blows me away.
Right? So there was a physician in like the 1540s or whatever who claimed the woman Frau Trophia in 1518 or 1517 when she started this dancing plague. Started it because she was trying to piss her husband off, and she cussed too much and she wanted sex too much. All very amazing scientific reasons, by the way.
But that pissed off her husband, though?
Yeah, he didn't like her dancing, I think. So what happened was
Unless it was sex with other people, that would be a problem.
Yeah, when you have times with mass hysteria, it's sometimes caused by shared traumas or stressful situations or repressions of feelings and everything like that. And they did have a fairly archaic view of sex. So it is possible, but probably not likely, that she started dancing because of sexual repression, which was a thing back then. Mm-hmm. Or they'd had high taxes and a food shortage, and the year before that she did this, so it was like a really terrible year. It was noted as a really terrible year.
Right.
So it might have just been this. So this is, she went into the other plagues, but they danced until they fell over and died. They danced until the skin had come off of their feet and their bones were sticking out and bloody, and then they would get infections and die from it. They did not stop. So when the amazing part in all of this, they had this, I'm going to see if I think it's Saint of Dancing. What the heck is her name? Saint Vitus. I thought that was what I knew it started with a V. Anyway, so so this plague in particular, the community decided to create an environment to help solve the problem. So they took all of the people who were afflicted and had followed her into this insanity and took her to a statue or a shrine of Saint Vitus, and a priest prayed over them and they got better. Like, that is kind of awesome. Because it's mass hysteria. Mm-hmm. It's not an illness. And like most of the other plagues, like we've done the bubonic plague and something that hit Rome that she claims was the actual fall of Rome. And there's like she said it best when she said, "I'm on team smallpox."
Yeah.
As what killed the Roman Empire. So.
Yeah. I'm leaning toward the other theory of the fall of Rome.
Okay.
Which is, they expanded, their money became worthless. It's the last time I looked up the fall of Rome, it sounded exactly like America today.
Yeah, well, she pointed out, and I think it's a fair point, they got hit with a really bad epidemic of a plague. Mm-hmm. And so when you lose massive numbers of your people,
but everything
including your army.
I was going to say, but if you've crumbled before that.
Yeah, they hadn't really. So this was during Marcus Aurelius's time, and then he died, and Commodus came in, and Commodus was fuckwit. That's a good way of putting it. Mm-hmm. So Commodus kind of spiraled it even further out of control, but they were they lost a lot of their resources. They ended up in war with the Germanic tribes, and it was just kind of a hot mess.
Yeah, which that was what I was going to say. Like, I would like to think you could put it all on the plague. That would be awesome, because, science. So we can fight diseases. Mm-hmm. But if the ideology of Rome helped a great bit, which I think it did, mm-hmm. that's harder to fight.
Yeah.
Because it is the hysteria.
Yeah.
Which Rome had a lot of that going on towards the end. That may have led to part of the smallpox as well. Yes. Stop caring about so much.
They don't know exactly that it was smallpox, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
So, she voted for that, but I'm just saying, if you say smallpox, you get the connotation of what would have gone wrong.
I was gonna say, I'll be more reductive, and I don't think it was as much disease.
Well, so when you get this kind of disease, mm-hmm. you lose all of your family, mm-hmm. and you watch them die horribly, and maybe you take care of them, or maybe you lock your kids out of the house so that you don't get sick.
Yeah.
And people will be like, no, I would never do that to my children. And it's like, yes, you would.
Yeah. The survivor's instinct kicks in yep. weird situations and in weird ways. You will do a lot of things to survive, and especially things you think you absolutely would not do.
Yep. So, yeah, we would all be that horrendous, and it's just the way it goes. So, accept your awfulness.
I was going to say some would be self-sacrificing. That is their role or their mindset. Would be.
Yeah. Hilariously, you know those Beak Max things they did for the plague doctors? So if anybody doesn't know, you should look up what a plague mask is. It was this long beaked nose.
They look fucking awesome and creepy. It's one of my favorite designs of anything, and it's not intentionally looks cool.
No, it's terrible. Like, it's terrible. So, they wore these long black cloaks, which kept the fleas out. They had these long nose masks that were filled with scented stuff so that they could, like, it was supposed to ward off evil scents or whatever. But what it really did was made them able to tolerate being with sick people who stunk. And it protected them from the airborne bacteria and the fleas. So they didn't get sick as often.
It all ironically worked. It was like the precursor to a hazmat suit.
Yes.
Which is what made it amazing. And it was because that long beak with the fillings on the inside were basically a rudimentary filter.
Yes. And they had glass eyeballs too.
Yeah. Like it was a full mask. It looks like it looks almost identical to a precursor gas mask. Because the old gas mask had that hose with the filter at the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
But people, like, mass hysteria during that time, ugh. And yeah, they would just lock people out of their houses. They would leave food and water by somebody's bed and say, I'm going to run to the store, whatever their store equivalent was, or I don't know, going to church or mass or...
You had to at that point, though.
And they would just leave them there to die.
Yeah, it was either leave them there to die or stay there so you could die too.
Yeah.
It was just no good options.
No. So, when I was a kid, we would go out to the desert, and my dad would say, just be careful, don't get close to squirrels, they all have the plague. And I'd be like, that's amazing. Like, I 9, I kind of knew what he meant. Yeah. But I didn't really know what he meant. And then it's like, I started to learn more about it. It's like, oh, dear God.
Yeah. There's been cases. Plague. Yeah, plague still exists.
I know it does, but
in America,
that did not sound.
No, it wasn't that threatening, though.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it should still be a thing. Like we should have beaten this at this point, and we have. I mean, with antibiotics, it's beaten, but as long as you catch it early enough. Yeah, she was giving the statistics on it. It's still like, I believe it's 700, 600 cases a year, and about, I don't know,
in developed
people
countries.
Die. Yeah, I know, all over worldwide. That was worldwide.
I know, I'm just saying some of them are in developed countries.
Yes, some of them are in developed countries. And it's still something like 100 or 200 people die per year. And it's mostly just for getting treatment soon enough.
Yeah.
So, somebody would be like...
I think diseases like that are a perfect, analogy, metaphor for mass hysteria. Because every case of mass hysteria seems to start out with one person doing something.
Yeah.
And then the idea catches on. It's so weird.
It is weird.
That's why I think today is mass hysteria, because of social media. That one idea, that one meme catches on.
Yes.
And then everyone falls in line. Everyone chooses a side. Everyone picks their media.
Yeah. I was thinking about this today. We make fun of, in the mom groups, we make fun of the husbands because they get man colds. And somebody posted today, pray for me, guys. My husband has a cold.
Right.
And I'm like, that's so funny. But it seems like it's picking up steam. Are we soon going to be, killing them for having, a cold and wanting to sleep for a day. And
Yeah.
I think we might.
Possibly.
Yeah. One woman was legitimately pissed. She's like, we all have the stomach flu. I have slept 3 hours and my husband slept 2 days. And I finally was like going to take a nap, and he followed me in to take a nap so nobody was watching the kids. And I was like, oh yeah, I would have killed him then. It's like, you need to tell him to go watch his kids. So.
All right, well.
She wanted to be a martyr. It was amazing.
I was going to say, can I ask the asshole question now?
She wanted to be a martyr. Mm-hmm.
No, the asshole question would be, well, did he work the 7 days before and she stay at home?
She's a homeschooling parent, so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, did
like I said,
work?
It's an asshole question, but...
It is an asshole question.
It's
not easy being home. It's like...
It's not, but depending on... This is a big dependence, depending on what he does. What he does might be a little more taxing.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah. I'm not saying...
I feel like if you got to take a dump in private and did not wipe anybody's ass but your own, you have a leg up.
Maybe. Maybe not.
You want to be wiping asses that are not your own?
I don't know. My brother does it. He's a nurse.
Oh, dear God. Power to him, man.
Yeah, it was my favorite conversation with my brother was he told me how much he made one week because of overtime and things to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
And he laughed and said, wiping ass doesn't sound so bad now, does it? I said, yes, the fuck it does. But that's not enough for me.
Nope.
I'm all in favor of money. I'm a huge capitalist. That one, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, so it just depends. Especially if you have very stressful children, it can sometimes be just worse being at home. Because imagine if you've got like 2 or 3 ADHD children, and you have to be at home trying to educate them.
Okay, and if he has a 12-hour shift or something and has to deal with fucking 20 ADH employees.
Well, what she said was that he'd been homesick with them, throwing up and everything, it'd been a couple days, and he'd slept through all of it, and while she'd been cleaning everybody else up and sick herself.
Yeah.
So.
I was saying one might have had more reserves than the other.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I'm not making any judgments here. Just saying. There is the argument that...
There is. It's okay. People will just flay you for saying it.
Oh, it's fine. I don't give a fuck.
No, you don't.
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. No one wants to hear them.
Exactly. So, we got off of the topic. So the dancing thing. So yeah, it happened a couple of times. The dancing thing doesn't really happen anymore. And it's probably because dancing is no longer as taboo as it was. Mm-hmm. Possibly. But there have been other situations of mass hysteria, like the killing fields of Cambodia. And I'm getting all of this out of this book that I just listened to. Mm-hmm. That the killing fields of Cambodia, they had a bunch of the women go blind afterwards. Because why? Because they'd just seen something so horrendous that they didn't want to see anymore. So that is a possibility. I mean, how do you really get a diagnosis of what something causes mass hysteria? But that was a thought. And a high school in Tanzania not that long ago, the girls all broke out in hysterical laughing. Mm-hmm. And they would alternate between hysterical laughing and sobbing hysterically. So, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But if I was in a public high school, I'd be sobbing too. Oh, just kidding. I liked high school.
I didn't.
No, well, I did. I had fun.
It's a small miracle I didn't become a school shooter.
Oh, Lisa.
I'm serious, man. I had other kids tell me that too.
Huh.
They're like, I remember you from calculus. I never wanted to mess with you because I expected you to shoot the place up one day. Like, thanks.
That's
vote,
amazing.
vote of confidence there.
Right? Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a weird thing to hear.
Good on you for not doing it.
Right. I didn't even think about doing it.
No.
But
Just wanted out of this place.
I do think the mass shootings lately have been an epic or a symptom of some kind of mass hysteria going on.
Mm. Well,
it takes
don't
a
you
lot,
have to
and
be
it didn't
near
used to
somebody
happen.
to do mass hysteria?
Unless you're the first, unless you're the one.
Okay.
Like maybe I
what?
should just say hysteria,
Okay.
because, or like the nearness, I don't think has to be as much anymore because as soon as the shooting happens, everyone fucking knows everything about it now.
That is true.
You have Vegas, and all of a sudden, a couple, 2 weeks later, you have Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you had Vegas. No, because the other one is religious related. I think. I'm pretty sure the New York guy was religiously motivated.
New York was religious, yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. So different kinds of mass hysteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, I guess I can see that.
Like, mass shootings wasn't a thing before the 60s.
No, well, they didn't have guns that really...
Guns were a thing.
Not like... It's not that they weren't a thing. It's that you didn't have people who had access to the guns that could kill tons of people.
You kind of did.
The production of them started to kick up at World War II. So, like, you have the easy... In the 1860s, during the Revolution, you had to load your gun, and that took you 5.5 minutes to get one bullet in it, or something ridiculous like that.
Those were black powder.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you end up with that production slowly working its way to faster and faster, and then you can load multiple bullets and all this other stuff, and that does pick up, but...
Yeah, but it
didn't really start to, like, the manufacturing and everything like that didn't start to really ramp up until later on.
Automatic weapons were readily available in the 20s and 30s. That's why you always saw automatic weapons, the Tommy gun, with gangsters.
But did people have
during Prohibition?
Those?
Yes.
A lot of people had them.
I don't know how many, but they were available.
Okay. Well, and in the 20s, they should have shot people because they had Prohibition.
Yeah, they did shoot some. That was what they're not counted as mass shootings because they're more crime related.
Yeah. So, and isn't any mass shooting even if it is crime related? That always bothered me. Like,
no,
shouldn't this count?
No.
Why?
I don't know, but they don't.
But they should. I think they should.
I think they're categorized by motive.
Uh-huh.
Because mass shootings are really motive unknown type
Unless
things.
you are going to shoot up an entire rival gang and that is the only person you are trying to hit. Even if you're just trying to intimidate a community into being silent, it's a mass shooting. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue one way or the other about that. It's just how they're classified and how they're classified at the moment.
Well, that's annoying.
You don't get crime related. At least for the most people who do the statistics on these things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it has to seem random. I don't even know if the disgruntled employees get counted. They might, but I'm not sure.
Never random. There's always a reason for it.
Whitman was random.
Yeah, well, okay. But there was a reason.
But it was random.
Tumor.
Yes, but it was random.
I understand, but there was a reason.
Vegas that we know of was random.
That does seem random. I'm sure there is a reason, but goodness only knows if we'll ever find out what it was.
I was going to say, even Texas that we know of so far, it was random.
Well, apparently his mother-in-law went to that church.
Okay. Was there a deep-seated hate for everyone around her?
Well, I mean, many people dream about shooting up their mother-in-law. Not me. My mother-in-law is awesome, but
how much easier is it to shoot your mother-in-law and try to get away with it?
I don't know. People
if
who
you
are
just aim at the mother-in-law.
I think my 9-year-old said it best. He was pissed, furious at his friend who would not stop needling him in that obnoxious way the kids will do. Mm-hmm. And he just started screaming, I am going to beat you with this thing. And he just lost it. Mm-hmm. Because you hit a boiling point and you just lose it. Yeah. And it was like, wow, this is friggin' fascinating. Mm-hmm. Which is the worst parenting thing to do in the entire world. I don't suggest it, but that's how I reacted. I'm watching him going, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I learned a lot from him. Like, you see this kind of rage, and it's like, okay, your impotence at the situation and feeling like you have no power or control and cannot change it, and it comes out as extreme violence and rage. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's so cool. And you get a whole group of kids who are like that, and, well, what would they do?
Yeah, but we're not talking about a group. We're talking about one mass shooter.
Well, Columbine was 2 kids.
It was 2. That was very rare.
It is very rare, yeah.
I can't name another 2-shooter group.
Yeah.
Or even multiple shooter.
That is true.
It's usually the one dude. And from a personal story.
So then that's not mass hysteria because it's just
I'm saying
one person.
But then it continues.
If it's but I mean, so if it's only one person doing it then and there, I don't know. I feel like they're looking at it going, oh, that's a good idea. I should do this.
Well, shouldn't that count as mass hysteria?
No, that's like, sorry.
No problem.
No. So what I feel like is with mass hysteria, it's something that's happening right then and there. Mm-hmm. So you get people together who start attacking somebody on the internet and just pull them down and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
That seems like mass hysteria, even if they're not right next to each other. You have to see this as a good idea and then decide to do it, and then weeks later do it, or whatever it is. It's never like instantaneous.
I still think there's a hysteria to it too, and it's being portrayed through the idea of transmitting.
I mean, that's possible. I have no idea.
I don't either. I can't prove that at all. I'm just saying. I don't think weapons being readily available have anything to do with it.
No, but I do think it's easy. To me, it would be easier to kill a bunch of people with a gun.
I think it'd be easier with a bomb.
Okay. Fair enough. But I was thinking between gun and truck.
Fair. So, but like I said...
And like a knife attack? That's a joke.
But... not really. Ask London.
Yeah.
Knife attacks have gotten really real lately.
But not that many people died. Did anybody die?
In London, I think it was 2.
So that is not horrendous.
I think France had one with 9, but it could be wrong.
Yeah. So they don't have the guns available as much as we do, and they have less fatalities because you have to get more creative, and the more creative ways aren't working as well.
No.
But it is easy to build we're giving people terrible ideas. It's easy to build a bomb, so you're right about that.
I think it's cheaper to build a bomb.
Like
a single handgun at the cheapest price is like $400, maybe $450.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can
tell I've never bought my own guns.
Yeah. At least large caliber. You can get some cheaper 22s. But anything above a 22 is going to run maybe 300.
Wow. Shows you what I know.
For new. If you're buying at a pawn shop or something, I'm sure you can get cheaper.
Okay.
And if you're looking at certain shotgun builds, might get a little cheaper too. But no one's ever. Wait, no, let me rephrase. Not many have ever gone on a mass shooting with a shotgun.
No, that would be ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure at least one has. I ran the stats not that long ago. It was a weird exercise and kind of eye-opening and fascinating. Because if you want to have the gun debate, this is also a bad idea for me to throw out, but if you want to have the gun debate, handguns, way more death than any kind of rifle.
Yeah.
I mean, just on mass shootings, not all murder.
I have.
If you count all murder, it's not even close. Handguns kill more.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't necessarily want to get into it. It's just one of those things where I could see both sides fairly easily, and I have sympathy for both sides of the argument.
Oh, I can too. I lean more one way than the other.
Yeah.
But I see both sides, and I don't have great arguments for either one.
No.
I don't have awful arguments for either one.
I think there should be more compromise in the middle of this. That's what bothers me, is that it's not like we can't compromise.
Yeah.
And try and figure. We have so many ways that we can do things that would work, or at least try them to see if they would work, and nothing happens.
No, because I think that's where the mass hysteria on the shooter issue comes in.
Yeah.
As everyone goes into hysterics after these events, whether it's, oh God, ban all the guns, or oh God, they're going to take my gun.
Well, I mean, the mass hysteria, not mass hysteria, the shootings. No, I guess it is mass hysteria. The shootings are a great vehicle for me to suddenly develop agoraphobia, so that I don't have to go out and see anybody or do anything.
Yeah.
It's not laziness. It's mental illness.
No. Yeah. Except agoraphobia doesn't quite work that way, but okay. We'll run with it.
What are the odds my husband would know that? He made me go to a party last week. Oh, it was terrible.
That's awful.
It was awful. I was like, oh, I don't want to go. And I went. It was full of awkward engineers. And it was like, oh. It's okay. I was the awkward one. And after about like an hour and a half, I'm like, I'm really done. We need to go. I don't like peopling.
That needs to be a title of something. Just full of awkward engineers.
That's all they are. They just talk shop all the time. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying. It's not English. None of that was English. Why am I here? You could be just fine without me.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I've always found the talking shop thing weird.
Yes. That's all they do.
My friends never do that, is the thing. It's like, I have one friend.
And they're engineers?
Well, one is he's the, what is it?
I don't know.
Network engineer.
Okay.
Computer stuff. It's IT infrastructure.
Okay.
Which I can talk to him about, but he gets off work and he's like, all right, fuck work. Let's talk video games and music and movies. Yeah. He doesn't take his work home, except when he literally does. But even then, it's like, no, talk about something else, because this is boring and stupid.
They're all jazzed about their work. They're all excited. They're doing cutting edge stuff, so they think it's really fun. And I'm just like, no.
See, even that, I don't know. I don't have that. Like, I could be curing cancer, not get home, and I don't want to talk about it at all, ever. Work is work, and then life is life. And doesn't matter what I've ever done, I've kept the two quite separate.
Yeah. Nope. That's not the way it goes with the men in my life. They're engineers that talk shop and drive me crazy. And, I mean, yeah. I'm just tired of that. So I would go area to avoid having to go to a party like that ever again.
You cut out.
Booger. Okay.
I heard.
Can you hear me?
I would go. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I would go mass hysteria just to get out of those parties. Because, yeah.
Yeah, but then you would start dancing and you'd just be the center of the party.
Damn it. I don't want to dance.
I know. That's the thing. I think certain people are immune to catching mass hysteria for certain reasons.
I don't know that I'm immune to it. I'd see, and that's the thing. Like, I don't think I am immune to it. I think I can be caught up in it quite easily. At least in some ways. I think there'd be other stuff where I'd be like, this is stupid and I'm not doing this. Because every once in a while I just get into moods like that. But I'm sure there are times where I have been goaded along with friends. For when I was a kid, we had this little snot wipe that lived down the street from us who was big into vandalism, and I don't know why I did this, but he started throwing rocks at this abandoned place. That, I mean, it was still owned and it was still a nice thing, and he broke a bunch of rocks, and I picked up rocks and I started throwing them too, and I'm like, what was I thinking? You know, and you look back now, it's like I don't know. He was doing it and I did it too.
Yeah.
So,
which, I mean, there's certain cases where I can think I got caught into certain group thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier to get caught up into that than
but I question
most
it now.
People realize. Yes.
Now I hear something, I always take that minute to go, okay, is this legit? Do I need to double check everything I just fucking heard? Because, I don't know, you spend so much time hearing lies from people. There comes a breaking point where you're like, nope, fuck this. So we're back after quite a lot of technical difficulties and then travel and other things. It's been a fun week.
Yes.
It's been a real fun week.
It has been a fun week.
Yeah. We missed another.
My internet keeps breaking. Thank you, Verizon.
Yeah. I'm now standing outside recording this. It's a lovely day, by the way.
Bet you it is. It's cold and windy here. It's northeast.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's chilly and windy here, so it's actually really nice.
Nice, yeah.
It's better than the 80 degrees in November yesterday.
Yes. My parents are saying it's going to be 94 on Thanksgiving.
Wow. It's not... We're getting a cold front here.
Southern California winter.
That's insane.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be 67 here.
I will take my 40s.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to snow. It's always fun when it snows. My in-laws are up in the mountains on the Appalachian Trail, so it's beautiful up there when it snows.
That sounds amazing.
Yes, absolutely. It's cool.
I mean...
okay, so I gotta get back to groupthink and close this one out.
Yeah. The last thing I was saying was groupthink. As long as you question everything, you're not as susceptible to it. And it's tiring.
And I get that.
It's so tiring.
It's exhausting. It makes you really cynical. And it makes everybody want to kill you. So you might not even survive. Because everybody wants you to groupthink with them.
Yes, they do. They want you to confirmation bias. They want you to confirm everything they already think. That's where the news cycle comes from. It's where the divided news cycle comes from. And it's not a fun time, but I think it makes you happier to not read the headline and immediately go, oh, that's true. And I should mold my reality around that.
Okay, that's fair. But, I mean... Yeah. Sometimes I really just like buying into the things that I know are probably not true.
I mean, I think everyone likes it. It makes your day-to-day easier to not have to go, here's the headline, let me take 10 minutes to Google it, and then possibly do math. Yeah. I don't think anyone wants that line of events. No. Especially the math part. No one likes the math part. But the math part saves us. And then statistics versus narrative is always a hard thing. Like the narrative is, this is the most dangerous time in the history of man. And the statistics say it's the safest. Yeah. But you hear you hear one mass shooter and everyone freaks out, but the murder rate's plummeted. Doesn't it doesn't change anything.
I know. Well, it'll be fine once Trump realizes that the murder is plummeted, because he'll have credit for it and tell everybody.
Oh yeah, of course. Even though it's been plummeting, but that's okay. You know,
why would we let facts stand in our way?
Exactly. Why let facts destroy a good story?
See, you and I want to just believe the things sometimes. Like anytime somebody tells me crazy things that happen in Florida, I just believe it. One, because it's Florida, and two, because it's funny.
I was going to say, technically, even when you fact check those are usually true.
The one I sent you about the woman who trained her 65 cats to rob her neighbors.
Oh yeah, that was, I'm assuming, satire.
Was not actually true. Yes, but it was Florida. But I was thinking it had to be Florida, and therefore I was inclined to believe it was true.
Yeah.
Which I had a philosophy professor in college who told me that sometimes truth was only what you could believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the term was, but that's what he said. So he's like, so if somebody came up to me and said, "Hey Matt, I saw your roommate walking down Main Street with a 6-foot-long bong," I would believe that, even if it wasn't true, because it's something that I could conceive of having happened.
Because it could be believable.
Yes, exactly. So I always thought that was an interesting way of looking at it.
It is, but then again, depending on the person, you have a lot of naive people out there who could believe quite a bit.
I know.
I mean, the world's ending tomorrow. Wait, what's tomorrow?
Oh, thank goodness.
No, it's ending today. My bad.
Yeah, it's today.
November 19th. Another planet's going to... No, it's the same planet that was supposed to hit us in September.
Yeah. But I thought it was October.
Was it October? I thought it was September.
I don't know. I put it on my calendar that the apocalypse was happening, and then it didn't happen.
It's probably both. I think
yeah.
As long as you just keep guessing every month, sooner or later.
Yeah, we need to form that committee. So here's the best thing about this. Your idea of, like, handing out for the apocalypse for whoever guesses it right.
Mm-hmm.
We don't ever actually have to pay for it.
Exactly.
So we could raise a bunch of money handing out awards for whoever gets the apocalypse correctly, and then we can just embezzle the money and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And then when the apocalypse actually happens,
there's no one to pay.
We might be heading to hell, but we're in the clear.
I checked my ticket to hell
a
long time ago, so I'm good with this plan.
Yes.
But yeah, whoever gets the apocalypse right, we will pay you whatever we fundraise.
Yes.
We need to start that fundraiser. Kickstarter.
Yes. Go fund me.
Let's go. Yeah, go fund me. We'll start up a Patreon. End of the world Patreon.
We should do that, just for the hell of it.
Yeah, you really should. I'm on to get this started now. Another part of my Sunday. The best wording. Time to get the best wording for that. I'll have to call up Trump. He has the best words.
Okay. All right. So groupthink. We might make a lot of money off of this one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Fortunately, we've given our secret away to anybody who actually listens to this, but that's okay.
It'll be fun.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
So on a closing, mass hysteria. Is it a thing that's affecting most people?
I'm on the fence.
I'm on the fence as well.
Still...
Like, it's one of those English problems.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think most people are, but it doesn't quite fit the traditional definition.
Yeah.
But it's current year, 2017. Nothing fits the traditional definitions of anything anymore.
It doesn't. Everything is in chaos right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is changing so fast.
Yes. The dragon is pretty much done with its tail at this point. It's working on its own ass.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Until next week. Oh, actually, no. We're gonna take a week off for Thanksgiving.
I think. Unless this goes up today. In which case.
Okay.
It depends. But
Alright.
there may or may not be a next week.
Also, we may not see you next week.
Yeah, also near Biru planet's going to crash into us today, so it doesn't even matter. There will be no next week at all.
Right.
Because
that's right, I forgot.
So we're fine.
Okay, good.
But if there's a next week, maybe there will be a link to some kind of fundraising. Until then.
All right, bye.
Later.